I'm stuck in the middle because I got that fateful phone call in the middle of the night. I was writing a $1 million grant for a faith-based nonprofit. The phone call came. My life changed forever. It is unbelievable how many of your employees and you will think it's not going to happen. My parents aren't going to grow old. I'm not going to have to take care of them. And yet you'll get that phone call. Now, in my case, because my family never did anything in the normal way, the normal phone call is a medical crisis. Mom's fallen, she's broken a hip, she's a mercy, come right away. That's not so in my case. My dad sent $68,000 in cashier's checks to Canada. He'd gotten a phone call. He had just won the Canadian lottery. All he had to do was send the taxes to Canada. The sad thing is that these scams are becoming more and more prevalent for the older people. So I felt I was drowning. Decided that when I was all finished caregiving, which took about 10 years, that I wanted to help other people. I was hearing fantastic stories from caregivers, people who had risen to a high level of caring, taking care of their parents and balancing the rest of their lives. So I felt their stories needed to be put into a book. The book went to New York. I got a phone call from New York. Hey, what's your national platform? You have to have it ready next week. I said, no problem, and hung up the phone. What in the heck is a national platform? Well, first of all, I'll come back next year and I'll tell you about writing a book. So you want to write a book. Think twice about that one. But what they wanted was for me to have some way to sell, market, and promote my book, because they don't do that anymore. Big houses just don't have that money anymore. Pretty soon we'll all be carrying Kindles anyhow, and that'll just make all the publishing houses go out of business. But I decided, okay, I was used to speaking, I could become a public speaker. And that's the part I've really loved. I've loved meeting other people, hearing people's stories. Sometimes I cry with people, sometimes we talk. But I found in speaking all across the country that caregivers want two things. And this is both for you and what you can give your employees. They want essential information. When they're drowning, they don't need the big new Mayo book on Alzheimer's or the 36-hour days. They want, what are the 5 things I've got to do today? What are the essential medical and financial papers that I have to have signed? And they want that essential information. The other thing they really want is they want support. They want to know that they are not alone. So I talk to people about, and I'm going to go one more. This is so much fun. If you want to, you can play with it later. The stuck in the middle is about the fact that people are stuck in the middle of kids' career and then all of a sudden aging parents. What that really means to the person in the workforce is tuition, trying to fund their own 401k, and then also helping underwrite the needs and the care of mom and dad. So I talk about 3 generations of preparedness. I was just giving a keynote on Tuesday to long-term health care insurance providers. And I wanted them to understand that the whole idea of anything that one sells or anything that people do about taking care of the elderly really should be talked in terms of 3 generations. We should have 3 generations of preparedness. We should have mom and dad all organized, all the papers. We as boomers should be organized and have had those same conversations with our kids. And our kids should have talked to us about end-of-life decisions, whether we want DNRs, where we want our possessions to go, or ethical wills. If we didn't learn anything from Terry Schiavo, if we didn't learn that tomorrow isn't necessarily scheduled and we ought to all be organized, the nicest gift we can all give all of our generations and our families is to be organized and have those open discussions and be prepared. None of this working out a crisis bit. So we need to be planning for the unforeseen. George Burns, as he lay in his deathbed, his family said to him, "George, "Where do you want to be buried?" And he said, "Surprise me." Now that's funny, except that it's not very much into preparedness, so I don't know if I might have given George a lecture at that particular time.